sustainable finance and how the private investment can help to contribute to sustainability. This is our topic here today at Dukascopy TV with Jean Laville. He is partner at Concert Invest. Mr. Laville, welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
So, what are the current trends in the sustainable investment field? You are also Deputy CEO of the Swiss Sustainable Finance Association. Can you give us an outline?
Yes, first I will try to begin to describe the environment we have this special year 2015. This year we have a very important conference in Paris. At the end of the year we'll tackle about the climate change. Second, this year the Sustainable Development Goal has been released, which also create an interesting framework. We also decide where we want to go with the planet this year. And third, we have an international initiative also starting here in Geneva around UNEP, United Nations Environmental Program, what we call inquiry. It's also how to design a sustainable financial system. So all those three elements makes a particular event for sustainability in finance. And as you mentioned, Swiss Sustainable Finance is an association who has been creating last year to promote the sustainability within the financial sectors, but also in being members which consider have the major players in the financial system, from big banks to niche players, recognize that there is an opportunity for Switzerland to position itself in this field of sustainable finance regarding our culture, regarding our track record on that. So it's interesting to see that. From my job at Concert, which is to advise clients on how to consider sustainability, we see interesting progress. Having some pension fund has decided to, by law, to consider responsible investment policies in the way they do their traditional investment, because now there is some recognition that this type of investment deliver also same returns of normal, more traditional mainstream investment. So this recognition that that this type of investment is not done at detriment of performance is now going more and more forward, and we have now this equilibrium where an investor has to choose either to do sustainable at the same performance as usual. So it's really create new opportunity for that.
Very interesting. And the Paris conference at the end of this year, what outcome do you expect, and what impact will it have on the world economy, and maybe how can investors benefit from this outcome if they invest in sustainable finance solutions?
It's clearly that the experience we have in Copenhagen has not been good for investors who have already tried in the past to invest in carbon funds and other thematic funds on clean tech, solar, etc., because all those things have shown some problem to the fact that policy has not been adapted, and objective has been well defined to ensure a framework for long-term investing. What we expect from this conference, and there are a lot of investors calling for that, is that the politician fix long-term objective, which is, as we call, science-based. We need strict, solid objective on what we want as maximum increase in temperature, which is the number which has been chosen, the indicator which now summarize the best our future, is that we have to not to exceed this level, otherwise we have a very unstable system. This is the objective, and we want that this is a long-term objective be fixed, and from that we expect that each nation, each country come back to defining all objective. How does it mean to reduce? For example, Switzerland has announced 50% reduction already in 1990 at 250. So to have this type of objective and to fix policies. There is a big debate in Switzerland, ecological energy transition, and we need this debate going forward so that we have a nice plan, that we have a projection and investment can come. Because as has done Environmental Energy Agency projection, from now 300 billion investment we have towards new energy system, will have to speed up to more than 2 trillion on around 230, and this cannot be done with public capital. It has to be done with private capital. And so we see if we need this, if we the system is able to set up a nice framework, investment have a better chance to go from private to this type of the objective goal. But with no framework, it will be difficult for the private sector to come. It's not philanthropy. They are not calling for money. They are calling a framework. We allow them to create jobs because it's a big issues on energy. And clean tech create 2 to 8 times more jobs at the same gigawatt produced with fossil fuel. That is very interesting. It has also beneficial effects on health. Now World Organization on Wealth is now calculating this effect. So we have a nice picture now, I say, positive way to manage very dramatic situation if nothing is done. And so there is an expectation for this year that we push this agenda more on investor side. We have all the material now for the investor to call for nice objective and ready to invest in.
So 2015 really seems to be a year very exciting for the idea of sustainable investment. So the question is more where to invest, since there are returns of investment also with sustainable products. But there is also the divestment campaign going on. So what does this mean, and what could this especially mean for investors?
Okay, if we come with the positive side, there is the sector has innovated to create, for example, microfinance fund which allow you to invest in some low income countries, helping some local developments. And this microfinance, Switzerland is a leader in that, and there are very interesting returns regarding to that. So in this low yield environment, microfinance produce this type of debt, produce interesting returns. And so there is an interest coming from institutional investors to that type of investment, on private sector also. There are also type of green bonds, which are very interesting now. It's an explosion of green bonds, so allow you to have some nice fixed income return, but also directly targeting some positive impact, green. On the now portfolio, what we advise to our investors, our clients, is that to look what they have already invested in. And this is the concept of stranded assets, saying that if you are now invested in a normal index, like, I don't know, MSCI, you have about 10% of your portfolio, which is linking to fossil fuel, whatever it is, oil, gas, and coal. And if you look, as I remember, this objective we have at Horizon 250 is that we have a budget of CO2. And this budget of CO2 now, it's 1/3 of what's already now captured by the market in reserves of listed company, meaning that if we succeed, if the politicians succeed in having this objective, means that most of assets of fossil fuel assets have to be stranded to stay in the ground, not exploiting, meaning that it will create a very downgrade of those industry. And we see now that coming many more investors looking at this risk, and so investing from that, or reducing. Now the world is decarbonizing portfolio, measuring. Now we have more and more tools to measure the CO2 content of portfolio, and then we can decide policy how we manage the CO2 content. Can we reduce 1/3? Can you switch to low carbon indexes? Things like that. Interesting strategy to manage your exposure to the CO2, given the scenarios that it can go worse for those companies. Also, it's interesting that this investment campaign many in the US, which is more social. Now, new generation caring about this subject, fossil fuel free. It's a topic in the universities. Many universities are divesting, and we see that as a new generation challenge. They want to create this new world, and it's interesting to see this young population joining this movement with their own university, divesting from this fossil fuel, and it will be growing. We expect that in Europe it will come soon.
And really pushing for change. This is all the time we have right now, but if people are interested in the topic of sustainable finance, where can they find out more?
You can find interesting information in Switzerland on the website of Swiss Sustainable Finance. There is, if you are more interested in the question local, we have a nice website on Sustainable Finance Geneva, and also Concert. We are also furnishing these services to help clients to define their own policy on how they will manage that.
And you also brought some material?
Yes, it's interesting to have now in Switzerland the debate on the design of the sustainable financial system. It's a very interesting initiative showing that we can, at this moment now, include some sustainability issue in the way financial is doing its operation, problem of externalization of costs, problem of favoring tax incentive for green products, and all those type of problems are now discussed at very high level in Switzerland and internationally too. And to finish on a more positive view, we have published, Swiss Manufacturing Geneva have published a nice book, Innovation and Finance, and you see very nice initiatives going from microfinance to activists, which create very opportunities for doing well by doing good.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jean Laville, for being here today and sharing this information with us.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching. Do make sure to keep clicking back on the Dukascopy TV website for latest updates and exclusive interviews. Have a great day and see you next time.